Okay, so I stick with the micro for people backwards. So I'm sorry, I will be the boring guy today because I will start with marketing and TV series. So there are not so many data, insights, information about this new OTT world we are in. So we'll spend 30, 40 minutes together exploring insights based on surveys, on real-time data on TV series. And you will see that in a world where you have so many digital platforms, digital usage, in fact, there is not so much information about how people consume, what people want, what do they watch. So here is the proposed journey. I'm Remy from Beta Series, and I'll introduce Beta Series so that you understand where the data come from in a couple of slides. So we'll discuss, we'll cover this morning, first, these usages, they are building everything. We're switching from a marketing offer world to a marketing demand world. So now the user has a lot of choice, many platforms, many series. The problem is choice, the management of choice, and for providers, for producers, attention. Keeping attention, driving attention on TV series, on subscription, on platforms, and so on. And not only paying platforms, but also the AVOD platforms, driving attention to bring people there, because then the model is advertising, but still we need to attract people on these offers, and we will see that TV series are clearly a lever to attract new customers and to retain them in these offers. And at the end, we'll cover purely for producers how all of this is really an opportunity, is interesting. So my data will be based on what we do at Beta Series. Beta Series, it's a platform, it's a media platform providing recommendation to more than 5 million users in Europe every month. We have 2 million people registered for free on the platform, and to these people we create agendas of TV series, recommendation, we push them alerts, and they have all their TV series live in their account. So for 10 years we track all the usage on what is watched or not. Do people leave during episode 3, season 2? People who like this series, what else do they like? To which platform do they subscribe? Are they old? Are they, young? And so on. We'll see that together in a live demo. So we, out of this B2C offer, we provide a lot of analytics so that we help platforms to launch new series. We are partnered with Apple TV Plus, with Disney Plus, Canal Plus, a lot of plus, with Prime also. And we built also services for producers and distributors. I give a couple of words about that. We are providing recommendations based on data, analytics, but also based on interviews, articles. So we are very close to TV series creators, and in little rounds, typically people we met here, thanks to Mark. We are partner with a with a Berlin TV festival, and thanks to Mark, we had the chance to interview Johannes Betz from Das Boot, or Benjamin Essler, Freud, and so on. So Nick was last year. Ordur Ronaldsson, I think, is there, and as a series in competition. That was last year for the excellent My Funeral series, and so on. Morgan Gendel, famous US showrunner. All these guys were met here in Berlin. This is just an extract, we got many others. So right now I start in the subject. So we're here to discuss about what's going on. It's going on about OTT and digital. So this is big figures. We spent approximately 15 seconds on that, just to say that yes, now people spend as much time on internet as on TV. And 10 years ago, that was not at all the point. And on the right, people spend in the US, but this is interesting, almost the same amount of time on OTT than on traditional TV. So we see that the curve is going fast, so we are changing fast. In 5 years from now, the world will be really more OTT than traditional TV. And we see that because all over Europe, we have more and more OTT platforms. Of course, we have in mind the big ones, Netflix, Prime, Apple TV Plus, and locally you have a Join, you have the Sky offers, or and in France, Canal+, Movie Star, and so on. But you see, a registered platform, more than 30 in many countries. So niche platforms, new platforms. Just learned yesterday that Viaplay, the big Nordic platform, is launching in Germany shortly. So a new player there, not yet in France. So we follow at Beta Series all these platforms, all these new possibilities to find content. So what does it mean in terms of usage? So there are new viewing habits. We know them. The first in mind is that, oh yeah, now everybody watch on many screens. It's mobile. Yes, it's true. We'll see a couple of stats. This is the first usage that comes to your mind. Mobile, multi-viewing. By the way, the mobile viewing is not necessarily in the train or in the hotel. Mobile viewing, a lot, more than half, happens in the household. Because today, in the household, you don't have anymore a family, the father, the mother, the children on the couch in front of TV. You have maybe the father on the big 4K screen watching football, the mother on the second TV screen watching a drama, and the kids on their mobile watching either eSport or Netflix, show. So mobile viewing now, especially among young people, has grown a lot, and it is for them the main screen. Even if So I take stats from many institutes before adding our own figures. So here on the left, French study, May 2021, 3/4 of people for SVOD, paying VOD, they still go on television, on the television sets, because it's premium, because we like to watch premium pictures on a premium screen, okay? On the right, it's about people demographics, so up. One sec. No. Okay, I stay there. Here you have young people, 52% young people do watch SVOD, VOD, where there are 3% of people above their 50s. So there is a big, generation gap on this video usage. So many people are still on traditional TV above their 50s, whereas for young people, they don't, for some of them, including my kids, they don't even know what is traditional TV, scheduling, and so on. So this is to know, but I guess you knew it already, more or less. What we know less is the other usages. It's not where, which screen, but how. How do people choose their content? It's not anymore the program guide, 5 channels, 10 channels, and 10 buttons. How do they choose? How do they watch? We hear now binge watching. Do they watch several series at the same time? On ProSieben, you watch one series at a time. But on Netflix, how many do you watch at the same time? Meaning in the same evening or with your several accounts. Do you watch that alone, with friends? Do you share screens? Many features about that also. So this is how that we can explore a lot more, and this is really typical, very differentiating in the OTT world. And what's next? Many platforms, so more and more platforms will generate people going from one to the other, because they cannot, people, including yourself, above 3 subscriptions, then you start to be at the level of traditional pay TV, and you want to spend more. So if you have 5 or 6 platforms in mind to watch all the content you like, you may unsubscribe, subscribe again, and so on. And this is a big threat for platforms today. The new ones, they want to acquire clients. The existing one, now they will keep clients. And to keep clients, you must know them well. Otherwise, what we call churn, the churn is a word from operators. It is, in fact, the unloyalty, okay? The more churn you have, the less you are keeping your clients, So this is the opposite of the retention. All these marketing words that are for years used by mobile operators, they are now really the words used by the Netflix and the others, including AVOD, and they should be also used by producers to understand, what kind of, differentiator what kind of sales pitch you can bring, including what's in your, commissioner's mind. Does this series, for instance, recruit people? Does it keep people? Does it have a big reach, a big potential or not? And so on. Because at the end of the day, they want to attract new people and keep them. Okay? So now we leave the big macroeconomics, and we made a survey a few weeks ago. We asked the question, and we have on beta series the answer in a few hours, because people love to say how they watch series. So let's get the benefit of it. First question is, how long does it take for you to choose your next TV series? And the answer is that it takes long. 36% say, wow, it's a pain. When I finished this, I loved White Lotus. It was so good. What next will I watch? Because I'm not sure I will find something as good, So this is typically when you finish a series, it takes time. So people complain, and the more you take time to find your next series, the less you are happy with your platform, the more you can leave the platform. So platforms will more and more lower this choosing time. And to lower choosing time, you must be very accurate about what you purchase. You must be sure of the targets of your TV series you are acquiring. So for producers, you should define what are your targets and present them. It's new. It's not only storytelling. These elements helps producers to better sell their TV series in these new metrics. Another question is, how do you choose? 57% people say, well, in fact, I'm browsing, and just that. And when I think that something is cool, is good, but sometimes I start 2 minutes and then it's not so cool, so I switch on another one. Just 24% read press, the official recommendation. But it's still 24%. 16% do exchange opinions with friends and families, with Facebook, with beta series, with all the places where people share. Did you see? By the way, you should watch, all of you, White Lotus. I'm just illustrating. And 3% do rely only on the little, email that is telling you, only for you, this is what we got. Because people think, but there are so many other choices and things. So, okay, I take this into consideration, but I listen to my friends, I read, and I browse, mostly. So then when you ask to people, but if it is me, let's say Netflix or Disney Plus or Join, telling you should go and watch that, is it important, who I am as a platform? And people say, 72% people say, no, what comes first is a series, a story. Okay, it could be on Prime, it could be, on Sky or whatever. What counts is a story. Story matters. Some people say, it matters, but I'm subscriber to this platform, so I'm listening to this platform because I don't want to change platform. 22%. And 6% say, well, if it is this platform proposing me this series, I will go and watch it. This works very well for Disney Plus or for the HBO content, but not for all of them. So this is how we see the power of a TV series title, of a TV series, let's say, aura and marketing that could be made around that. Other points, I said usages. People, you should know that they watch many series at the same time. So 53% say yes, and the average is between 3 and 5. On your Netflix account, for instance, you have several series open, maybe not finished. Some of them is with your friends, some others alone, maybe with kids. You have several series open, and sometimes you just don't finish them, okay? So catching intention is very important, and if you are on one series, for the producer, it doesn't mean that you have won, because for the producer, the point is, do you watch it all? Because the producer wants to sell a new season, and the platform wants people to be so happy with this first season that they are expecting season 2, and they subscribe till season 2 comes. So the point is to attract people and keep them in the viewing of a TV series, and it is not very easy because only 58% people finish the first episode. Of course, at the beginning, a lot of people, 25% leave. This is an average on all what we measured, last year. But and then progressively, some people leave, and then at the end, you got 58. So, and you will see in a couple of slides that 58 could be 70, could be 40. It depends the marketing you have done on your series. It depends if people knew before what it was about. If they don't know precisely if they are the right targets, they may just be wrong, and after 15 minutes, they say, oh, it's not for me. I was wrong about that, okay? So this is why in beta series, we measure in the episodes and between episodes, the churn, how many people stay, to check if they leave because it was not for them, or do they leave because, in fact, the story is not that good, okay? So if you go to the end of the first episode, you have not won yet. You must go to the end of the season, and many people say that. So, 19% people say that if it's not good after one episode, I go on to another one. But 35% say, I give them a chance, like for 2 or 3 episodes. And 41 say, well, it's not excellent, but I go to the end. The old traditional TV, spirit, which is I go to the end even if it's not excellent. But the new generation say, if it's not tip-top, I'm just leaving it, right? So if you prepare before your community, in green here, you have people going to the end of first episode. The more you prepare your audience, the more people go to the end of the first episode. So, international franchise, Snowpiercer, that was taken in France early this year. Okay, so people here, they knew what it was about, but there was not a local influencers. It's a big franchise. Okay, 49 is not that much, but a lot of people went there. Season 2 renewed. 60% Le Pen. It's international, but it's a French franchise, I would say. So people knew about that, and people read the books, and it was quite local. Somehow it was more prepared locally. 60. Planqueur, so season 2 renewed. Planqueur, another story. Local people in Paris filming, affairs between couples in Paris. And people doing this are women very much in influence, They have activated a lot of our PR, a lot of, interviews and expectations. 72%. Maybe less people, but 72. Season 2 renewed. Okay? Another point is about this binge watching, which is a big subject in many discussions, including in the US. Because I am an ex from Warner Brothers, and in Warner, in studio, you never binge watch because content is gold, so you don't give it away like that. But for the demand platforms, they say, well, for The Witcher, 25% people watch it in 2 days. If I don't release it in a binge watching mode, so all episodes available, maybe 25% won't come. If they just want to watch over a weekend. Disney says, yeah, but Mandalorian or my Star Wars franchise are so good, people wait, you will see. And it's true. People wait every week. So these days, there are less binge watchers. In blue, binge watching offer and demand is going a little bit down. And weekly scheduling is going a little bit up. Whereas 2 years ago, on the market, the question was like, everything will be binge-watched. So it's not that, black and white. The reality is that some titles, some platforms, they deserve, this kind of weekly distribution. And for some titles, some content, some platforms, some targets, maybe the binge-watching mode is better. So it's not as simple, all these elements. So you have to understand what you have in your hands in terms of content, in terms of targets, to deliver the best proposition so that people at the end of the day, they stay on the content, they're happy, they subscribe to the platform, the producer sells season 2. At the end of the day, I speak a lot about recommendation, recommend. So the big question about that is, if you recommend too much, maybe you will close the choice, reduce the choice. And in fact, more than ever, people say that they would like to have more than just US, just British, or just local. They want to have European or other, but European a lot. So this is a good news for us and for festivals like Berlin TV Series Festival, because opening your mind to Israeli series, to Belgium series, to Scandinavian, Nordic series, Spanish series. A few years ago, it was rare, and now it's very common. A study there, done on 25 territories by Ampere Analysis, says that 20% of the content, around 20, is not US, not local, and not British. British is special because it's between Europe and US. It's so, industrial, and that they are in a specific, I would say, category already very well positioned on international series. So I made that on France, and in our stats at Beta Series, we have since last year, we went from 72% US content to 67. You will tell me it's still a lot, but it's decreasing. And this split is only on non-US content. In blue, you have French, and in green, you have British. And you say, oh, well, good, the French. Yes, but my measures were made when Lupin was released, and Lupin made jump the French content, from 5 to 20, and now it's again at 8. Just to tell you that it is slate-driven. So the content has to be good, otherwise people don't go there, and then, they forget about French series or German or Spanish. So we should keep quality high, and the expectation is very high. Okay, everything is clear. Maybe it's time for us to go to a little demo, a live demo. So because in this OTT world, there are a lot of data, but in fact the data is not shared because it's a secret. How do I keep clients, attract clients? How do I use TV series? Nobody knows, in fact. So what is missing is really audience, in fact, performance. Did really people like my series? So we'll go on the Beta Series Insights first offer, which is listing top rankings, TV performances, and so on. And then we'll skip to the, the market, the providers approach. I'm just, okay, doing this. No, these are my emails. Yeah. So this is Beta Series homepage, celebrating the festival today. And here you have a lot of some editorial and many entries, partners, and so on. What is interesting, just for you to understand how we do measurement, you will see just after, is that here you have, I am logged, 2 million people are logged, and when I am logged, it tells me what's going next in my agenda, because in a meeting yesterday night, I heard about embezzlement. As a matter of fact, I saw it, and I had the pleasure and the honor to interview Dana, the main actress. Great series. So I put in my agenda embezzlement. I have seen 2 episodes, and when it will be sold and released in France, I will watch the following, but the system will tell me, hey Remy, episode 3 is now available. I will receive an alert on my mobile. So we help people, when they hear about a series, when they are recommended a series, then they can watch it, they never miss an episode of it, even if it's 2 years after. And this is how we built agenda on 25,000 series, and how we built knowledge on the markets, because we have the viewing declaration of people. Okay? So if I go concretely on the platform, I know then in real time for recent shows, the 7 last days, only SVOD platforms, and I took away animation, so purely fiction, right? And the ranking today is, no surprise, Sex Education, Casa de Papel, and so on. But you have rankings. Sex Education has taken 58 seats, positions in a week, just been released, a lot of expectations. If we go on the Sex Education analysis, you will see that there are many people waiting for it, our system is pushing, and people anyway. it's pushed by Netflix. So suddenly they were nowhere and they are number one just in a week. Of course, this is the power of the platform. So the point for us is not to stick on the first positions, but to check where are the French, where are the German, where are the others, and this is how it's interesting to check in time, because we do that every day on monthly basis. We can do that per platforms. By the way, we could even go and have a look today in Germany, what's happening. And probably sex education is not that far, Casa de Papel, but maybe not the same. Maybe not exactly the same ranking. I'm just connected. It is thinking. Where is it? Ah no. Okay. Sorry, I didn't. I was stuck on the platform. Yeah. Sex education there. Le Pen in France, it's away, but it's still in Germany. A lot of Netflix, maybe more than in France. Prime with Star Trek Picard, Strange, maybe it has been released and pushed recently, and so on. So we can compare between countries. What we can do also is to go on a specific platform, so we can, I don't know, for French, we can test Apple TV Plus just released today. It's not a French platform, but they just released today Foundation. Bigger expectation and Foundation. So Foundation is probably quite far, and as it is released tonight, it will go up and up and up. I don't know where it is, but it's very down. In 2 weeks or in a week or so, it will be number one. Today, it's C, released 2 weeks ago, season 2. So it was, and for 2 weeks, it's on the equal position. Morning Show, season 2, just released last Friday also, so it has taken 5 seats, and so on. So we have this kind of global understanding. We can also compare catalogs of platforms between each other. So let's take, let's compare Prime with Netflix, and the system tells you, oh, there is a lot of first seasons in Netflix, less in Amazon, and in Netflix you have 12% more romance, and you have, in Netflix, you have a little bit more women and a lot more students. So then you understand, and we can go per consumer, so I won't go the whole demo, per consumer you can have analytics, per category you can compare, 15 years old, occasional viewers with, and so on and so on. You can play with the system. Because when you're about to release, a series, you just want to be sure that it is for the right target, so you can check with that. What is missing is the information about the series itself. So let's go to the show, which is the main interest of the platform, is the detail about your show's performances. So let's say, okay, I take a one that was here in competition last year, and that won many things. So let's go to Unorthodox. So in our panel, we just measure 16,000 people watching the show. So it's not 100. So we have a good data about that, and we compare them with all beta series. But let's say we know it's a series which is on Netflix, one season. So let's compare this with all the one season on Netflix, and it tells you, oh, it's still more female-driven than the average, 7% more. So it's really targeting, more women than the average. So this is how you should pitch it to Netflix. You should pitch it that it goes older and less young. So it's good because they want to attract people from television, older people. So it's also good on that point. And you can check in time. So it is totally released. You see people start there, they finish there. It's an excellent churn. It's a small series, 5 episodes. So of course, it's more difficult when you have 12 episodes over 5 seasons. We'll see another example after. But then you see, okay, so compared to other one season shows on Netflix, 17% more retention of people. So this show, in fact, keeps more people than the average one season on Netflix. So of course, you pitch the story first. emotion, and so on. We know the story, that's more important, the most important point. But if you know on the top of it that this series is extremely addicting your audience, then the platform likes it even more. Because the platform say, it's cool, then people will stay and they will even want a season 2 and so on, right? So, and we measure in time, so there is still some traffic because there are some pushes regularly, festivals and so on. But the last month was pretty small, just a few hundreds people. The wave is behind us about unorthodox. And this is here very interesting. People who watch unorthodox, they watch particularly more than any people these shows. Because Freud is number 98, the 98 most listed show for people watching unorthodox, but he is 400 in the average taste. So we take the biggest differences so that we know that all these shows are very close in terms of DNA, in terms of sharing, positive ratings specifically for this audience. So if we have to push unorthodox season 2, we would explain to all people watching this that there is a great show. If you didn't watch season 1, go to season 1 first. If you saw season 1, season 2 just arrived, then you can organize your marketing. And segmentation by usage is very important because here we know that unorthodox, we can speak to people on Netflix, but also on Prime, but also on OCS and Canal+. So you speak to all, not only your customers, you speak to all people fan of series, and you know that these people are specifically interested by unorthodox because they watched it with a lot more interest than the usual beta series member in the 2 million average, right? So this is the core of the system to propose a recommendation based on what people like. It's not about genre, it's not about platform, age. It's not a segmentation by the audience, it's a segmentation by the usage, by the viewing. Another example, and then we come back to the presentation. I take another very different, the Bureau des Légendes, because it has 5 seasons. Male, more male, older. I compare it to Canal Plus shows. A lot more male, a lot older than usual Canal Plus content. And here, all the seasons. So you see, of course, you have less people than at the beginning, but what we see here is very interesting. So I take this off. You see that at the beginning, people leave because it was not very well explained. So some people say, after 2-3 episodes, they leave. But people who stay, then they stay and they come again and they stay and they come again and they stay. Of course, season 4 is a bit more difficult. Season 5, a lot of people left, But it's very stable in time. So the churn is plus 13%. So this shows is keeping 13% more people than usual shows on Canal Plus. Usual shows on Canal Plus, sorry. And that's why Canal Plus renewed 5 seasons. Okay? So there are many ways to use this data. One way is to use all what's existing to project a script, a new script. You have a new script, and then you can find the closest series in terms of viewing. We have the data for this series, and we can establish some kind of a robot portrait of your script. Will it be a very big series for which target, and so on? And this is a project we have which is co-funded by Creative Europe with a Spanish company, Film Market Up, with a company based in Berlin also on the financial part. Thierry is there, Media Deals, sorry. And this is how it looks. So you inject, in fact, a script, you get comparables. The producer selects a few comparables in the list we propose that is based on artificial intelligence analytics on the script. And we produce a robot portrait for this new series that was pitched in Festival de La Rochelle 2 weeks ago, of the fiction festival. We took the script and the producer went and pitched and said, this is my themes, I should go and discuss to all these commissioners, this is my target, the genre I am in, other comparables, and so on. So then you have material to pitch even at the script level, which is very important because you're not alone with your story. You have also element to put in the balance about to whom I'm speaking, and that is very helpful when you discuss with platforms. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. And always a couple of, okay. So that's what I was showing you, this script evaluation offer, because to boost creation, we bring all these marketing, tools. Another one is we establish for one series, we find the right audience, and to this audience, we ask the questions, what is the pitch? Why did you like the series? It's very good to sell a series when you are a distributor, for instance. So this is another offer that we have. So I'm leaving now the usage and the data analytics on usage and a few slides about in front of all this usage, you have quite many people. It has started with, the big giants, Netflix. The reaction, because it was so difficult for the US studios, they needed to create their own, but they are international, so the local needed to create against them their own offers, and the national channels losing audiences, they needed also to work together so that they could build proposition again competitive against the three other. So it's a lot of people at the end of the day. And we are still a little bit in a duopoly, even in a monopoly in some territories with Netflix, Netflix Prime Disney, Netflix Prime Disney, Apple TV Plus, a local, and so on and so on. But it's more and more balanced. Like the mobile phone from Apple has been launched, you had just iPhones at the beginning, and now you have many smartphones. And it's not only about SVOD, now the new buzz is AVOD, so some offers already in Europe, some others not yet, local offers currently built. So another bunch of offers, you don't pay for these ones, and they are TV series, not that many, not that premium, but also developing, so that in fact, in a year, you have 50% more commissions of TV series. And why all of that? Because they are used as a main acquisition driver. Who has Game of Thrones? Who has Foundation? It's Apple TV Plus, €5, I take it. I will see after if they have something else to show me, okay? And to keep people as a retention driver, it is a graal, as I said. You should, as platforms, TVs, keep the audience. So paying $500 million for a TV series who stopped running the last century, Seinfeld, this is a retention, It's not a new title, it's just that it's so efficient to keep people. And they spend a lot of money, all these new in-commerce. Originals are in billions. This is the blue, dark blue is the 16 million of originals, $16 billion spent. So in fact, this black, originals amount is the same as all what Germany spends on new content per year, to give you an idea. So how do React channels and local players? Free TVs, they say, okay, we lose audience because people go to series that are premium series. Let's put the money together, let's co-produce, let's develop common projects. This is the alliance with RAI, France Télévisions, and ZDF, Leonardo, or the world tour in 80 days these days. I think it's a lead on ZDF, this one. And they have, let's say, 4 or 5 per year, and they work together. Sometimes the TV from Spain is invited, some others are. And let's say that an episode is, for each of them, they could spend less than 1 million. If they are 2 or 3, 2 or 3 million. With 2 or 3 million, you can make a period drama with very high production value. Of course, you're not in the 13 million of The Crown, but you don't have that many shows above 10 million anyway. So to be above 1 million is the scope. Nordic 12 is the 5 Nordic channels together. You will see at the end of excellent, Nordic series, at the end you will see all the logos and N12 logo. They commit themselves 12 times per year to broadcast a series in all their territories. Maybe not the same day, but they say, no problem, you can count on SVT, on Yle, on NRK, on DR, on the Icelandic channel I don't remember the name of. And all of these will display, bring budget and bring audience. And pay TV have reacted a lot also. They all develop now originals, sometimes in partnership. There are many productions between, I don't know, it could be between Sky and Canal Plus, like 000. It could be between I don't know, Sky, Movistar and Atresmedia Media working together. So there are alliances locally with pay TVs or pay TVs between themselves, because some show could be split over a few territories. And let's say that Sky is taking, their territories plus Canal Plus. It's complementary. So each of them pay half of the price plus a mandate for distribution in the US, and then you have episode at 3 million, right? So this is a big story happening in this new co-production world, and it's true that in terms of big players, you have a lot of public services traditionally investing a lot in scripted content, and here you see the BBC or the German or the French very high, finally, at the world level, of commissions, but in blue. They are mostly in blue, and blue is for linear, whereas Netflix is all red. So the point is to switch to these OTT contents and these OTT targets, maybe the 30s, people in their 30s, less than people in their 60s. And in this world, the UK went very fast, having a 260% increase on high-end TV series in 5 years, showing the way for the others to follow. The good news is that people, more than ever in Europe, they love local contents, they love their local producers, and I bet they will love what the local platforms will bring them. So the latest study showed that apart from Spain, a little drop in Spain, but apart from that, France even has joined the club. All the best audiences are local shows. France, I was at Warner at that time, it was Mentalist that kept a lot of audience. But since that, and even was listed the 100 best audience in France, 92 were local shows. So let's check how do German titles perform in France. So this is the list of the top German shows in France in 20 and in 21. You will see, I'm not reading the list for you, you know the titles probably. What you will see is that between 20 and 21, you have only 4 new titles, including Deutschland, which is a 3rd season. Deutschland, so 89. So it's a 3rd season, and it's not really a new title. So you have a lot of titles still there. It's a good news because they're big. It's a bad news because it's not dynamic. We did the same study for Spain. It's 50%. Italy, it's 20%. So it's something to check, If it's moving a lot, it shows that it's a very dynamic industry with a lot of, propositions. So overall, Germany is stable, it's between 1 and 1.5%. Some months, when it is released, it's 2 or 3% market share, German titles on the French territory. And the reach, so the global interest to German shows, not only the members, but all the traffic we have, it's plus 8%. So we speak a little bit more about the German content, and the good news is that it's less one platform, it's more spread on other platforms. Netflix was 90% of the German shows proposed in France, now it's 60%. So the market is opening itself. So this is the kind of metrics also to check, market share of a country, of a producer, a long time, and then you learn from that if your market is going in these international markets dynamically or not, or less. Spain, now they are at 7%, they're just after the UK, and France is at the level of Spain or even under on its own territory, which shows that really Spain is exporting a lot. And of course, the US is still very high, but as I say, going slowly down. Netflix is today producing more than 60% of their shows abroad. So, and then they are not, even if it's US money, it's not a US show. So co-production, and there are very interesting tables this afternoon about that. Co-production is part of the solution because you put money together. So you have more money, you are in higher production value, because you have wider distribution, because you aggregate, Sky plus Canal plus this plus that. So then you have enough in terms of coverage to justify your budget. And we still have 10%. It depends how you count the figures. You find sometimes more, but it's because is it a co-production between Austria, Germany, or French-speaking Belgium and France? There is a debate. So, but compared to movie, where you have a lot of tools to help co-producers, you have less, in fact, to date, in series. So it's still 10%. So there is a margin for progress that is quite important. Of course, with COVID, maybe some projects were a little bit reduced, but now it starts again. And you see any kind of configurations. You see Midnight Sun, it's SVT, public channel, Canal Plus, pay TV. You see BBC plus Netflix, many deals. You see Rai plus HBO. You see many configurations. Rai HBO, it's L'Amica Gentile. So, there are the quota coming also, so the big platforms should invest, and because they need to have local content in their offer, 30% applied from a few months, so it will be progressively measured. And so just for France, quite nothing. I don't know why, we have 0, maybe it's the way they count, the taxes, but anyway, 100 million and 200 in 2 years, 300, so a lot more money coming from the platform. So it's a good news also for local producers. The money will come from platforms. Platform may also steal some talent. We hear about how difficult it is to produce in the UK. Prices for the same content are 30% higher. DR in Denmark just gave up on a period show because they cannot find enough talent in Denmark, announced last week, and so on. It's difficult to find some talents. I heard that, I'm not sure, but I heard for Berlin. Some places start to be really, even if you have a lot more people on the market, it's a very tense market. Here you have active screenwriters, active directors increasing in a few years, and maybe some tension in some markets where they have developed a lot of international series. So, as a conclusion, and we're at the end, as a conclusion, I would say that I hope that you saw that this international TV series segment is benefiting for these new usages from OTT, from this international mindset that people have, and openness people have more and more. There is a growing demand from multiple players. Is your local channels now having their own OTT platforms, but also the big ones, alliances, the Join and the Salto, these new bouquet, the Viaplay coming to Germany, the Pluto coming to Germany, and so on. So you have a lot of more potential clients as producers and competitors as platforms. It's complex and segmented. It demands more marketing knowledge. Of course, it remains a story, a creation, but it's good to be backed by some rationals to be sure you can pitch and sell and distribute. And it's a dynamic and changing landscape. Now the big story is about unscripted. A lot unscripted is purchased by platforms. Big story is arrival of AVOD, also buying and developing TV series and originals like ITV Hub, producing originals, they said, and not for ITV, just for their online platform. Also, news like Netflix investing in video games, global, super global franchises, series, movies, video games. So does your series has a possibility to be a global franchise or not? I mean, you should keep in touch with the market. But this remains a clear opportunity for the European production industry because there are so many talent stories. We should build global models, think international, stay local in stories, but with universal appeal. Be industrial, be able to release a season 2 in less than a year. Measure, what's good for season 2, understand, so that we go to season 3. And if it's a mini-series, have a logic of, our ROI in one series. And you should be very agile. We should avoid the very complex, multi-financed co-production. Co-production should be easy because platforms go fast. It should be in less than a year. Today it's 2 or 3 years. So we should go fast to catch up with opportunities. And I think that we are in a place like Berlin and this festival, the right place to meet and develop this new market together. Thank you so much. Vielen Dank. Well, I'm more than happy to discuss with you if you have questions, if you are a producer or TV or German or not, because all what I say there, obviously there are possibilities to go into details. Yeah, please, waiting for Mark to come, please.
Do you have information about languages? I mean,
yeah.
Are watching dubbed, original language with subtitles?
Languages is a very, very good news. More than 50% of Netflix shows are now in local language. People are now familiar with subtitles. And you know why? It's funny because young people who watch a lot on mobile, in noisy environments, they need subtitles to catch up everything. So they took the habit to use subtitles and they gave it to all their peers. So now subtitling is not an intellectual, property of one asset. So people accept subtitling more and more. People start to like it, not for intellectual purpose, just because now it begins to be part, of a standard international release. So now you see that all the content produced is a lot more in local languages, and it's no more a problem about that. You have even international shows in multi-language. Everybody speaks his own language, and then it's subtitled in all the languages, and we keep locals. If it is shown in Germany, the German guy in the series, there is in the South Pole, there is one series, the head, everybody speaks their own language there, for instance.
Just to clarify something you said about Spanish content in France.
Yeah.
I think I misheard, but I just want to check.
Produced Spanish content are Spanish TV series produced in Spain and distributed in France on any platform and watched by French people.
Equally as much as?
It is twice as much as the German content, and it is even above the French content when the French don't have much to release because it is a lot slate driven. But you have Casa, and they produce a couple of Netflix shows. They have also the first Starts Play originals, and Altres Media is very active also.
Okay, so basically throughout the year there will be points when more Spanish
Correct.
from even the big prime time, long established, sort of, the equivalent, say TF1's prime time 9 a.m. old school style slot, you can still get more.
Then you have peaks, of course.
Yeah, but at some points there'll be more Spanish than French.
Yeah, definitely it is slate driven. So when there are no titles, it's a news. Today it's still a news driven market. So no news, less audience. But more and more it will be a catalog also market because we need to keep people and to show them that we don't have only news but great stuff for you. So it's time also to sell older titles that would be wonderful for in this example, Spanish title for a French audience, but that have been never sold, Even, Arte purchased La Jauja from Chile, and it's an excellent series, and it's super international, but a few years ago it would have been impossible, but now it's subtitled, it's very local, universal themes, it's working well. Okay? Okay, yeah, another one?
I'm not an expert, but I'm thinking about some platforms as filming in Spain. I came from Mallorca. It's a little industry, audiovisual in Mallorca, really little. And you can, as a filmmaker, you can put your short film without a little right, really easy in this platform. And what do you think about these little products inside a huge platform?
Well, today there are platforms dedicated to short films, to
Or little films, independent,
yeah, okay, so
without the big marketing,
okay,
no blockbusters as Game of Thrones,
yeah,
little things, rare, you can have difficulties to find it.
sure.
But
I,
in the platform is easy.
I got your point. In this new world, you know, it's just like buying shoes, you know, or buying anything. You have mainstream platforms having quite everything at a good price, let's say Netflix, Prime, and then you have dedicated creator, you know, more boutique platforms. So I think that you can be big and mainstream, or if you are not big and mainstream, you should be identified as, let's say, a niche, you know, platform, and there is a strong demand for that. So there are several independent movies or series platform in development. I give you a couple of examples. In France, there is one platform developed by the group Brut. Brut is doing a lot of free video all over the world. It's a French company, but it's really a worldwide, you know, success. And they are speaking with video to generation under 30, speaking about, you know, sustainability for the planet, you know, LGBT plus problematics and so on. So they are very well known for that. And they just launched a month ago Brut X platform, and people subscribing to this, they know they will have only independent series and movies on this problematic of concern. So they just acquired in Cerimania We Are Lady Parts. So it's girls, you know, making a group, a music group, but they are Arabic, they are from the minorities in the UK. They will release only, you know, for this target and for these expectations, purely independent. And people know it's Brut, so it has nothing to do with Netflix. So this is why the branding for platform, when they are small, it should be very identified, so that people go to the platform and not to the title. They know the platform brings, I don't know, content of excellence about this or about that, and then they know which content it is. On Netflix, it's more the blockbuster that drives the audience. Are we good?
Yes.
Anyway, I'm there the whole day, so